is Mary Lee Durkis, and we are going to talk about fire extinguishers today, about how to use them, when to use them, and which ones to use. Now, we carry 3 different fire extinguishers on the trucks: regular ABC, our water cans, and then our CO2 extinguishers. Today we're mainly going to be talking about the ABC extinguisher. Those are the ones that you're going to find in buildings, and when we have to go teach classes to people in those buildings, those are the ones you're going to be talking about. So first, you have to classify what the fuel is that is burning, because that's going to dictate which fire extinguisher you're going to use. So Class A fuels are our normal combustibles, your wood, cloth, paper, anything like that. Class B is going to be liquid fuel fires, or flammable liquid fires, which is usually fuel like gasoline. And then Class C is going to be electrical items, so like servers and a lot of these big businesses, they'll have server rooms. So you'll want to use a Class C on that. Those rooms often also have their own extinguishing agents built into them, especially if they're really big rooms. And then in kitchens, in commercial kitchens, you will find Class K extinguishers, and those are specific for like grease fires. And that will also be the agent that is in their hood system. So once you identify what's burning and you know which extinguisher you can use, which the first 3, they're usually a combination extinguisher, ABC. That way people in the public don't have to think too much about it. They can just grab it off the wall and go ahead and use it. So you're going to want to make sure that you are staying far enough away from the fire. You don't want to get too close, because the heat that we put off, there could be little embers that burn out and they could burn you. You also want to make sure that you never get in between your exit and the fire. This is obviously more for the public. We would be wearing our turnout gear, so we have a little bit more protection there, but that's why fire extinguishers are usually close to exits, because we want them to put out the fire if they can, to be able to help get everyone out of the building, not necessarily to extinguish the fire completely. And then obviously size and intensity. If it's a huge fire, the best thing for them to do is to just leave the building. We can handle it. For us, that would be using a fire hose, obviously, instead of a fire extinguisher, which, like for fire alarms, we normally bring our water can and a high-rise pack. That way we can make that determination if there is a fire when we get inside. So when it comes to selecting fire extinguishers, obviously personnel will be able to operate the fire extinguisher. Everyone on the fire department knows how to do that. But again, that's why we do those public education classes. So people inside those big buildings, especially those state buildings and office buildings, and I know we always go to JCMG, that they are familiar and they know how to use them. And then ease of use. Ours on the truck are usually pretty heavy. They're bigger ones, but we're fine with that. In the offices, they're normally smaller. They mount to the wall, so they're easily recognizable and easy to just grab and for anyone to operate, right? Because it's all about being able to provide for their safety and making it as easy as possible. So, and then like I said, with life hazard, if it seems too dangerous, seems like they can't do it, we tell them, just leave, just get out of the building, we can handle it. We are way more concerned with everyone making it out than we are with them extinguishing the fire. We'll put the fire out. So like I said, we'll be wearing our turnout gear. Obviously the public will just be wearing whatever they're already wearing. So for us, if we're going to that kind of call, we're already going to be dressed out in our bunker gear anyway. That should not be a problem. But you wanna wear that, cause again, the heat from the fire, you can have embers popping out, you don't know what might be burning until you actually get up on it. Okay. Well, this is our ABC fire extinguisher. There's one of these on every truck. This is similar to what's gonna be in most buildings. Might be smaller, might not, depends on what kind of building it is. So when you go to use fire extinguisher, you wanna check it, do a quick inspection to make sure that it's gonna work. Cause if you get up there to put out a fire and it doesn't work, that's gonna be a problem, obviously. We wanna mitigate the problem as quickly as we can. So you're gonna check the exterior to make sure it's not rusting through. You know, there's no obvious like leaks or holes or something. You're also gonna check the hose, make sure there isn't any tears or burns or bubbles or pinholes or anything that would not make it work correctly. And then you're gonna check the nozzle, make sure the nozzle's there, because it helps to spread out that agent, be able to cover more of the fire. You're gonna check to make sure that it's at the operating pressure, or it won't work properly, it probably won't be able to go very far, and then you're not gonna be effective. Obviously, if you're doing a check on the trucks like we do every day, you look to make sure that the pin is still here, and you'll still check that gauge. If it's not within range, probably don't use it, grab a different one. Here at the department, Dave deals with all of our fire extinguishers, so tag it, take it to 3, and let Dave know, and you can grab a full one from there in the room at 3. So when you pick up the extinguisher, we obviously should all know how to do this, but when you're teaching people, you want to tell them to pick it up by the handle, and like this, and then you're going to carry it close to where you're going to use it. And if it's outside, you want to make sure you approach with the wind to your back. You obviously don't want the fire blowing towards you. And then once you get there, you're going to pull the pin. It's inside there. Ours have chains that connect it. They don't always have chains. If it falls to the ground, it doesn't matter. For the public, for us, we're gonna reuse them, so that's why ours are chained to the extinguisher. So you're gonna aim at the base of the fire. You don't wanna aim up at the flames. You wanna aim at what's actually burning. And then you're gonna squeeze the handle, and you're gonna sweep it side to side. You don't want to be too close, because if you're too close, you will push all those burning debris everywhere. And we want to try to keep it contained to the area that it already is. And you keep doing that until the fire goes out, and then you can check it and make sure it's completely out. So some considerations that portable fire extinguishers obviously don't replace hose lines. These are going to be for small, simple, quick fires, trash cans on fire, a little bit of leaves, use your water can, things like that. You're obviously not going to go into a fully involved building with a water can. You want to make sure that the agent's going to reach the fire. So that's where those small fire extinguishers sometimes may not be as good for the type of fire that you have as like one of these would be, because it just isn't going to have as much pressure behind it. Like I said, for the public, we want to make sure that they are not letting the fire be between them and their exit. So that's why fire extinguishers are by exits, so they can try to put the fire out. If it doesn't work, they can leave. And then obviously if it's outside and it's super windy, you might have a really difficult time using a fire extinguisher to be able to get the agent or the water towards the fire. And we all know that wind makes fire hard to fight just in general. Yeah, so once it's finished, you wanna try to stay safe distance away, but you also wanna make sure that you are effectively getting the agent on the fire. Once the fire has died down or you think it's out, you can go up and check and make sure that there's not any smoldering or anything like that, cause you don't wanna leave anything that's still smoldering where it could catch fire again. And liquid fuels might be a little harder to put out. You might have to use foam for those, or we've used like Dawn dish soap, things like that to make a little bit of foam sometimes. When working with Class C fires, those are the electrical ones, try to turn off the power before you actually start applying the agent. And when fire extinguishers are empty and you're on scene, you can lay them on the side so people know that they're empty. But when we leave the scene, need to again tag them, send an email to Dave, and take them over to 3 so you can fill them back up. Water cans, obviously, you can fill those back up at your station. Alright. So, thank you all for being here today. That was everything about extinguishers. We're going to be passing out a test, and I will get those graded. If there are any questions, you can ask them then.